Experience the moving tale of a young woman and her lifelong bond with a magnificent wolf as they embark on a thrilling adventure through a rapidly dying world. I don't want to give any spoilers for this game, so I won't, I hope. I will say it made me cry multiple times, at the beginning and the end, and several points in the middle. I intend to talk about various facets of this game in their own right, but talking about the gameplay connects with the story, which is enhanced by the art and compelled by the music, which complements the combat sequences. It's been tricky to parse apart, but I'll do my best to give a good overview and share my experience playing this game. I have to provide a bit of context for my assessment in this area. Neva is a 2D side-scrolling platformer, which is a very different kind of game from what I normally play. Most of my gaming experience has been in deck builders, RPGs, and open-world survival games. With that context out of the way, I liked how this game played. Initially, I was worried I was missing something because nothing was happening, but then the game started teaching me how to play. The game started out with the basics, making sure I knew how to jump, dodge, and fight. As I went through the game, new mechanics were introduced and utilized in puzzles and fights. I wish these mechanics were used more throughout the game after we learned them, rather than just being used in one or two areas. I had a lot of fun figuring out how these puzzles worked and incorporated into the combat area. Continuing to build layers of complexity by keeping old mechanics while new ones were launched could have been a really fun way to kind of ratchet up the difficulty. Unfortunately, many mechanics were only utilized in the season that introduced them. Both the puzzles and the combat were very forgiving. Our character has 3 lives, which can be regained by reaching particular save points or landing hits on the enemies during combat. Even if you lose all 3 lives, you restart at the most recent of the frequent save points. While some of the puzzles and fights were extra challenging and took a long time to figure out, most were pretty intuitive and straightforward to get through. The combat was ultimately a problem of pattern recognition, so once I figured out the rhythm and flow of the fight, the bosses were much easier to defeat. So, you've been watching this video, right? Try telling me the art for this game isn't absolutely stunning. I love this sort of layered watercolor aesthetic. The visual design is simple but vibrant. The color profiles are at times bright and inviting, while other times ominous and dramatic. The world really feels like you're in a Ghibli story. The deer, wolves, and boar in particular are reminiscent to me, at least, of Princess Mononoke. The music for Neva was composed by Berlinist, and I think they did an incredible job. It's music that I happily listen to even out of the game, but in the game it's a lovely complement to the art and story. It flows and accentuates the beauty and tension in a palpable way without ever becoming monotonous or distracting, a feat that I find truly impressive. As the Steam thumbnail so concisely says, the story is essentially a girl and a wolf surviving in a decaying world. The game takes place over the course of a year, beginning in spring, then moving through summer, fall, winter, and concluding in spring again. We play as Alba, a swordswoman moving through a woodland with a young wolf named Neva. A blight is spreading through the land, corrupting the foliage and animals, which Alba and Neva fight against. The corruption guys also really feel Ghibli-inspired. They remind me of No-Face from Spirited Away. Anyway, I got attached to Neva really quickly. The first time she was in danger, I immediately went into an adrenaline-fueled fight mode and slashed through the creepy hands almost on autopilot. Because the game is so forgiving with Alba's life, I didn't worry so much about my own safety, but playing the game I was desperate to keep Neva safe, despite her abilities being crucial in combat. An important thing for sensitive players to note is that this game does depict harm and death to animals. Each instance is moving and contributes to the flow of the game meaningfully, but some were also emotional to watch. The story poignantly explores the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. I don't know if I can fully articulate all the ways this game made me feel, but I know I loved it. In my opinion, Neva is a masterpiece that speaks to the skill of the artists, musicians, and creative minds behind its conception. When all is said and done, I think this game has something for everyone. If it's your first time playing, the mechanics are patient and forgiving as you learn how it works. Even if you're an experienced gamer, the art, music, and story are beautiful and touching. It will linger with you long after the game has ended.